Good morning or afternoon, everybody. My name is Jacob Micheletto, and I am here today to give you guys another speech for my Communications 101 class. So, a little bit about the assignment is I had to choose a culture that I'm not very familiar with, but am very fascinated with. So, I chose Egyptian culture, which I love Egyptian culture, but I never really knew a whole lot about it. So I'm really happy to have been able to research this. But first and foremost, before we begin, I would love to introduce my family members. Say, hey guys.
Hi.
Can I see everybody?
Okay, so beginning my research, one thing I do want to talk about is about jewelry and decor and accessories, anything that you can just like display like on your body, is very important in especially ancient Egyptian culture. So ancient Egyptians wore any kind of jewelry, decor, accessories, whatever, to display their power, status, wealth, whatever it may be. It was just a very important thing for ancient Egyptians, and something I found while I was doing my research. And I also found that like if you go to like any museum or any historical thing, you will find a lot of artifacts of jewelry and decor and accessories, and that have passed down through generations and generations and generations, and they're extremely valuable today. And then, so something else I wanted to talk to you guys about is about cats. And you may have heard like from movies or just in like conversation in itself is kind of like a known thing that cats are important in Egyptian culture, specifically black cats. And that is something that I found doing my research, that it is true. Well, they did not entirely worship cats. They're very important in their culture because they're seen as holy and sacred. And in ancient Egypt, one of their best skills is that they were able to kill rats or mice or bugs, and that was something that was super important to them. And then another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about with Egyptian culture is family and closeness. That is something that is very important in Egyptian culture, much more so than in American culture. So the term family in Egypt is used pretty like broadly, and it can even be used to describe like a community. And a little bit of what I found in my research is how family systems worked between rural communities versus urban communities. And so in rural communities, most Egyptians work in agriculture, and everybody is supposed to pitch in. So they live with multiple generations in one household, and everybody is supposed to pitch in however they can, even children. And something else I learned is in families that are very poor, women also work. That is something interesting I found, as well as being in charge of housekeeping and taking care of the children and managing finances. And then in urban communities, women normally don't work like quite as often. And then something else I found, that's like the main difference. And then something else I found out is that wealthy families, like very, very wealthy families, like top 1%, they don't follow any of these traditional norms just because they have so much money, which I thought was very interesting. And my understanding my understanding of this, of Egyptian culture was enhanced greatly by doing this research, because there's many things I didn't know. I knew that jewelry was important. By that, I didn't understand why jewelry was important in Egyptian culture. And then I didn't know how family systems worked within the country. Like, I just had no idea. So it was really, really interesting and cool to learn about how how families are like developed, and families are like the I'm trying to think of the word, like how the systems work. So it was really interesting to see. But that is all I have for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and I hope everybody has a good night. I'll let my family say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.